can I actually transition to barefoot shoes as a bigger person? Because let's be honest, 105 kilograms is a lot to flog around on your feet, especially with no cushioning underneath. There has been a growing trend with barefoot shoes for the last few years, with many people saying that they have great benefits from improving posture, reducing joint pain, reducing back pain, hip pain, as well as several other claims. They're especially popular in fitness, calisthenics, parkour, quite a lot of weightlifting, gym goers, and even some runners transitioning to barefoot shoes, or even barefoot running in general. But what about for everyone else? Like the general day-to-day public, like me. I'm Ash, your normal, typical 35, nearly 36-year-old female from the UK. I am larger than average. At the start of my fitness journey, I weighed 105 kilograms and I'm still around the 104 kilogram marker. I have a full-time job and very little time in my schedule for exercise. Although I am trying to increase the amount of exercise I'm currently doing, it's still difficult to fit in. But I am trying to change that. My full-time job is actually a professional dog walker, so it requires me to walk very, very long distances, several hours of a day, meaning that my feet and my joints and my general physical health is actually a very big and important part of my life, and something that I personally haven't been taking very seriously until approximately the last 8 months. As a result of my increased age and also a result of my increase in weight, I've been really struggling a lot with ankle pain and knee pain and hip pain and back pain, especially when I'm out on my dog walks. After the first hour of walking, sometimes less than, I'm in agony. My doctor is always telling me, lose some weight, it will really help. But believe me, at 35, nearly 36-year-old, just losing some weight is a lot easier said than done. In the last 4 months where I've actually been genuinely trying to lose weight and exercise, I haven't lost any weight whatsoever. But my fitness and health has dramatically increased, but that's a different story. You can go watch my vlogs if you want more of that info. One of the ways I am trying to actually improve my fitness and my health is through challenges. And so one of the challenges I presented myself with was to try wearing or transitioning to barefoot shoes. Originally, the challenge was going to be trying barefoot shoes for 30 days, then it increased to 100 days. We're currently around the 6 to 8 month marker. I've lost track, to be honest, and I'm still going strong, but it's been over 6 months, so been a while. But there is a reason for that. There's a reason why this challenge has actually extended up until 6 months. Now, to be honest, I've been interested in trying barefoot shoes for a while now, but I've never had a reason to take the leap because, let's be honest, barefoot shoes are not cheap. Let me rephrase that. Good quality barefoot shoes are not cheap, as I found out. During one of my health and fitness binges on YouTube, I actually came across quite a lot of people. Where did that come from? I came across a lot of people who were actually preaching all about the benefits of barefoot shoes. People that have been trying them for years to people that are just starting. The thing is though, a lot of these people that were doing these videos were also affiliated with the brands, which then made me question whether or not there was actually a reason behind all this positivity, or if it was their genuine opinion. Another thing I noticed that a lot of these people, the majority, nearly every single one of these people, were already very fit, already in very good shape, already doing a high level of fitness, or at least it looked that way based on their videos, their contact, and their general body fitness, shape, tonnage. You know what I mean? There was not a single person I could find that was preaching about the benefits of barefoot shoes that was my body shape, aka overweight, obese, chubby, curvy, whatever you want to call it. Someone who weighed above the average and was not in any way, shape or form healthy and fit. Until hopefully this year, but that's not the point. There was no one I could relate to. All these people preaching about all these benefits were already fit and healthy looking. So in my brain, I'm going, well, I can't try barefoot shoes until I look like that too. And this started to make me wonder, do barefoot shoes actually benefit everyone? Or do you need to be fit and healthy or have some level of fitness before you can use them? And this thought gave me the idea to start this challenge. Challenge being trying to go 100 days as an obese person, only barefoot, or in barefoot shoes. The original idea was to actually go 30 days barefoot only shoes just to see how I got on. However, when I got to the end of that 30 days, it just didn't feel enough. My feet were still adjusting and I wasn't noticing any big changes. So I did a bit more research, and after watching several more videos from experienced barefoot users, they all said it actually takes several months to get used to barefoot shoes. And for some people, it can even take years, depending on how badly their foot is actually damaged from wearing normal shoes in their everyday life. As a result of this knowledge, I then extended my challenge to 100 days. And at the end of the 100 days, I'm not gonna lie, I I forgot to record this video, so it carried on. I have actually been going barefoot and barefoot only shoes for the last 6 months. But has it actually made it... But has it actually made a difference? Let's backtrack and go back to when I first got the shoes and find out. First impressions of the actual trainers, they're actually really comfy. Bit difficult to get on at first because they're quite stiff with being new. There is quite a lot of space around the toes, which surprised me, and I was actually worried they might be a bit slippy with that much space around the toes. They're actually really comfortable and actually not too bad to run in at all. They actually give quite a nice security between you and the ground when running, and they've got quite good grip actually. I'm looking forward to using these. And apparently Eli was going to look forward to eating them as well. Just don't get parrots. So first impressions of Soul of Africa shoes, the Addis. Not a fan. From what I understand, the Vibra Barefoot were all meant to be wide fit, so they actually had some space for your toes to move and spread. And my toes are actually rubbing against the edges. I'm not gonna lie, they're comfy, but they are tight. Like around the toes and around the midline, they are quite tight, so I don't know how I'm gonna get on with these. I'm undecided on these ones. Considering the leather, it might be they just need to shape to my feet a bit more. We'll see. I'm not a fan yet. I've just put the walking boots on to try them, and oh my god, they are comfy. I've not even put 2 on, I've just put the 1 on. It definitely has a more solid base or a more solid foot. Damn, they are comfy. In preparation for me to start my barefoot challenge tomorrow, I have just thrown away almost all of my current shoes, and to be fair, they were all falling apart. The boots had holes in and rips, the trainers had no sole left, it was completely worn away. Some of the shoes were just too narrow, so I've never actually worn them because they're just too painful. The slippers were falling apart or just constantly fell off my feet. So now I only have my Vibra Barefoots and my Innovate Lights, because my Innovate shoes were technically one of the first sole shoe that I actually have, and even though they are not barefoot, they are very, very, very minimalist sole, and they do actually have really, really good traction, so they make really good running shoes. So I have kept hold of those, and even though they are not barefoot per se, because they are minimalist, I can get away with them if I decide to use those instead of my new trainers. So here we go, day 1 of my 30-day barefoot challenge, and as true to word, I am already in my bare feet. I'm already thinking I chose a bad day to start because it's pouring it down. It's soaking wet with rain. So this is already going to be a great way to find out if my new walking boots are waterproof. So we've been walking for about 30 minutes or more now, about 40 minutes I think. Don't time you up. I can definitely feel the difference. I can feel the ground and the movement of the ground underneath. It's not like I'm trying to stand on something and then falling sideways because of the solid shoe. The flexibility does actually give me the ability to feel all the lumps and bumps in the ground, which is really nice. I did have a bit of difficulty during driving. I have drove barefoot before, so I know what it feels like to drive barefoot. That wasn't too much of the issue, but I was quite surprised at how much extra stretch and how much extra pressure it did actually put on some of the muscles in my foot. That was a very interesting sensation. I was getting cramp after a while because of the way that my feet was shaping around. Cute 2 pups, they're playing. I was quite surprised at how much stretch it actually put on my toes and the muscles around my toes trying to form around actual pedal, and it was really interesting to actually be able to feel the pedal through my toes. It's a sensation I can't really explain. In regards to wearing the shoes themselves, the cramping sensation is gone. They were feeling a bit tight this morning, but that sensation has gone. They are very, very comfortable to wear now. They're pretty waterproof as well. It's like I've not felt any water in my socks. I can't feel any water in my feet. I'm pretty dry down there considering the weather, and they are really, really comfortable. Usually by now, if I was wearing my old walking boots, which to be fair were knackered and bent and battered and broken and all sorts, usually by now or by this point in the walk, my ankles would be killing me. Feet would be turning, my ankles would be pulled and strained. Usually I'd have a bit of a bend in my foot or my foot would be cramping, whereas I'm actually really comfy. Really comfy. I don't have any issues in these shoes whatsoever. This is really nice. Currently on my last dog walk of the day, so I've done 2 walks overall, including this one, so 2.5 hours worth of walking in the barefoot shoes. I've actually only just started my second half an hour. I am really starting to feel them now. I'm feeling it in my ankles more than anything, and also my toes, but that's mainly because of my socks, because the more I've been walking, my socks have been slowly pulling backwards, creating very tight tension around my toes. So it's not the shoes' fault that my toes are hurting, it's the socks' fault. I've tried them on a variety of different terrain now, and they've got really good grip, to be fair. I've not had any issues with them whatsoever. It is starting to rub on my back ankle slightly, but that'll be because these are new shoes and they're still adjusting to my feet, and I'm still adjusting to them and how they feel. So nothing surprising there. I'm a lot more comfortable in them when I'm out and about walking than when I'm in the car. I'm putting that down to the fact that driving is painful anyway. One thing I have noticed, and this might just be a coincidence, is I don't have any pain in my hips or lower back. Usually by this point I'm quite achy in my lower back and my hips, or I'm knackered and exhausted. I'm actually feeling okay. Ache around my ankle, but it's like muscle ache, like the kind of muscle ache you have when you've been to a gym. And I have to say, it's actually really cool being able to feel the floor underneath my feet, to be able to feel when I'm on a route or on a cadence. So it's day 2 and I am really feeling it in my ankle today. Definitely had an exercise, did something yesterday. My ankle is definitely aching, but it's aching again as a muscle ache more than anything. So I'm just having to try and slow down and just enjoy the day as it is. Gary's barefoot challenge. I'm currently on day 5 of my 30-day barefoot walking challenge, and I have to say I've noticed some improvements. I don't actually have any pain in my ankle anymore. I do get a bit of pain towards the end of my walks because it's just a lot of walking, but I don't actually get any pain in my ankles whatsoever now. I've also noticed a reduction of pain in my knees and my hips. Crazy. Now this may just be a coincidence, but usually when I wake up in the morning, all of my joints ache. My hips, my knees, my ankles. It's really difficult for me to get up in the morning just because of the amount of pain I'm in. Since about day 2 or 3, I've not had any pain in my hips or my knees when I wake up in the morning, which is wonderful, and it's a really nice change. Now this could just be coincidental, or it might just be that my hips and knees and everything are getting better in general, but it's quite a nice coincidence that my knee pain and my hip pain has actually reduced significantly since starting this challenge. Or another thing I've also noticed is my gait has changed slightly. My feet don't protrude to the side as much as they used to, but they're a lot more streamlined than they used to be. Lovely boy! Come on! Good lad. Again, that might just be coincidence. A third thing that I've noticed is that walking in general seems to be more comfortable. Usually I'd start rolling onto my heels or my feet would start pushing to the sides. I've noticed that that doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. My feet are still rotating. It's not a discomfortable rotation. Can't explain it. It's just, it feels good. It feels comfortable compared to when I was in normal shoes. Now technically day 8 of wearing barefoot shoes, but I was really ill yesterday, and so I ended up spending the entire day at home, and I'm currently out walking the dog with my barefoots on. And I have to say that first week I have noticed a massive improvement, and my ankles have been getting stiff recently because they have been working more, or the muscles in my ankles have been working more. And I found my way around this damn forest when I've got a dog pulling me in the wrong direction. Pavement is actually really painful compared to any other type of surface. Pavement is actually the worst thing I've had to walk on so far. It actually sends quite a bit of a jolt up the leg. But any other surface like mud, grass, trees, stones, anything like that, I've not had any issues whatsoever with the shoes. They've got really good grip, like surprisingly good grip. Another thing that I definitely noticed in the last 2 days is the arches in my feet have got stronger. Before I started wearing barefoot shoes or started going more barefoot than what I already did, my ankles tended to roll inwards and down towards my foot, whereas now they don't do that anymore. They still roll in slightly when I'm feeling lazy, but nothing compared to what they used to. The arches in my feet have definitely got stronger. Today is day 9 of walking in barefoot shoes, and today is really going to test me because usually I only have 2, maximum 3 walks a day. Today I have 4. I'm doing 3.5 hours worth of walking today, so it's really going to be a test to see just how much my feet have adapted to these new barefoot shoes. Still on day 9 of barefoot walking, and I've just realised something today that I forgot to actually do at the start of this challenge, which was take a photo of my feet and how they currently stand to actually give a good comparison as to how my feet may have changed in those 30 days. But I have noticed a massive difference, especially just now taking my shoes off. I did actually have to give my feet a bit of a stretch. They were desperate for a stretch. Oh, the muscles in the ankles really had to work today after that 3.5 hours of walking. I tell you what though, I don't need to stretch my feet out as much, which is nice. The feet themselves are quite comfy. It's just the ankles and the muscles that aren't used to being stretched suddenly want to be stretched. It's like I've just got this urge to stretch all the muscles in my feet. Main difference I've noticed is something you might actually not realise when you first look at my feet. First of all, my toes have already started spreading. At the start of this challenge, my feet looked more, I can't even do it anymore. My feet looked more like this toe curled under, this toe was always locking under over Pepsi Cola with that toe. These toes were always smooshed. You can actually see the edges of my toes where they all smoosh together regularly. That toe always curled under there. So I had like quite squished toes. Now, when I'm standing up straight, my toes are already starting to naturally spread out and give themselves space. Like this toe still curls under slightly. On top of this, you can't really tell from this angle, but my arches have severely improved. So little fact about me, I actually got told that I have flat feet. No arches at all in my feet. The muscles were that bad, there was no arch in my feet, full stop. And this has been true for me for a very, very long time. And I actually had to do some research at one point to learn how to develop arches in one's feet or how to strengthen the muscles in order to allow me to learn how to run. And I was told I was never going to be able to run. And since then, I've actually managed several 5Ks, a couple of 10Ks and a full half marathon. So stuff for you doctors. Granted, I definitely would not be able to run a 10K right now. And I'd even struggle with a 5K due to lack of practice, but I did it 6 or 7 years ago when I was a lot healthier. But just from 1.5 weeks, nearly 1.5 weeks of wearing barefoot shoes, I have noticed that I am developing arches in my feet. So before I started this challenge, my feet naturally, I can't even do it anymore. Can't even force my feet into the position. My feet used to naturally do this. So they used to splay inwards and this part of my foot would be on the floor. Now, if I put my feet back to normal, you can see I'm not falling down as much and I do actually have an arch. Look! I have an arch coming through. It's actually, I have a gap there. This is awesome. I've never had an arch before. Still a tiny arch, but it's an arch nonetheless. And again, if you actually look at my feet, I used to stand like this. I would stand like this and then my feet would roll inwards. Like that was a normal standing position for me. Whereas now, a normal standing position seems to be around here. So that already is a massive difference. So it's currently day 12 and I have to admit I'm really starting to feel it in my right ankle because my right ankle is actually a lot weaker than my left ankle. That was the ankle that tended to roll more into the side. I think I definitely need to start stretching my ankles out at the end of my walking sessions because it's starting to get a bit stiff and a bit sore. The shoes are still really, really comfortable. Even now I'm walking on really, really hard solid stones. I don't feel any sharpness, I don't feel any buzz, but I can feel the stones under my feet and I can feel my muscles moving around them. And the shoes have actually got quite dirty now, but they are actually doing really well. It's like the soles are still really strong on them. They're still really flexible. They have molded to my feet slightly. They're more comfortable to wear than when I first got them. Do you know what? They're just a really nice pair of shoes. Starting to feel the fact that I have been barefoot for nearly 2 weeks straight. It's really, really starting to take its toll on my feet because obviously I'm not used to it. I think I've actually done quite well so far. A part of me is starting to miss having thicker soled shoes just for comfort purposes, but I know that this is just the start of a long haul. Eventually my feet will get used to the floor, eventually my feet will get used to it and it'll just become a comfortable thing anyway. Right now, the halfway point, really achy. Day 16 of wearing barefoot shoes. My ankle pain has gone. I have noticed my feet are even more streamlined than they originally were, unless I'm strolling, in which case laziness kicks in and my hips start pointing outwards and so my feet start pointing outwards as well. Doing well so far. The arches in my feet have definitely got stronger and more supported, and like I said, the pain in my ankles has gone now, so my muscles have got used to the extra. Go! That foot is like properly fixed itself now. That was the ankle that was most painful as well. I've also gone out a couple more times in my Sole of Africas. They're still uncomfy. My feet are slightly wider than the actual area of the shoe. I don't know whether or not that's because I've not worn them a lot, so they've not had an opportunity to mold to my feet or get used to the shape of my feet. I might need to wear them a bit more often, but it only seems to be when I stand still. When I'm walking, they're really comfy. I actually forget that I'm wearing them, with the exception of hard floors. Hard floors, hard surfaces like flat concrete is actually really, really painful to walk on. I say painful, really uncomfortable to walk on, whereas walking through woodlands and grass fields is actually really comfy in barefoot shoes. So So it's now day 26 of wearing barefoot shoes. I am starting to feel a bit stiff in my right ankle. The muscles in my right ankle are getting a bit tense now and again. I don't know whether or not that's just because of repetitive strain, because I'm constantly walking, or whether or not that is something to do with the barefoot shoes. I'm not sure. But other than that, it's been good. They are a little slippy, like they don't have very good traction in very slippy mud, or they're not designed to actually have that much traction. They are walking boots, but they're not designed to be mud walking boots. I've still not been able to try out the running shoes, the orange running shoes that I got, because I've just been so busy. Running has been one of my last priorities, but I do need to get it back up and going. I do need to get my fitness back up and going again. On the positive side, because my doctor has said I am now allowed to go swimming, running, cycling, like light exercise, I've been able to go back to free diving as safety and surface drills to get my fitness back up, and also to get some practice back in, which is fantastic. I went back to the pool last night for the first time, and it was so good and so nice to be back in the water, and so nice to have flippers back on my feet. I can't believe how much I miss having fins. I still don't have any pains in my knees. Pain in my knees and the hips that I had previously have completely gone. I have no pain in them whatsoever anymore, which is lovely. I can't just put into words how nice it is to wake up without paining your hips. I've not done any extra training. I've done a little bit of primal mobility at the start of the challenge just to try and get some activity going, and I'll be honest, I've not really done much since. I can only put the lack of pain in my hips down to the barefoot shoes. They have definitely helped my hip pain and my knee pain I have, whereas previously I'd be waking up every single morning, struggle to get out of bed because of hip pain. I'm now classing this as my final day of the 30-day barefoot challenge. I've come to Park Run and we are going to do a 5k in my new barefoot trainers, because since I actually started the challenge I've not actually had the opportunity to come to Park Run or actually try and go for a run in these trainers due to lack of time and busyness. Summer is a very busy time for me, and this is also my first time back at Park Run since I got ill back in April. I have no idea how I'm going to do today. I have no idea whether or not I'm even going to survive the 5k. I don't think I'm going to be able to run for the entirety of the 5k, so we're just going to have to see how it goes. This is also the first time I've actually been early for Park Run in like a year. I'm only about 1.5 kilometres in, nearly 2 kilometres in. I've done a lot of walking and I'm so far behind my usual. I've even got the faster runners lapping me. Just over 3k down. I am knackered, I am hot, I am sweating. Bad choice of eating starting to show. This is fun. Just past the 4k mark. As you can see, there's no one behind me and there's no one in front of me either. Quite literally running solo at this point. Week 2 at Park Run, nearly at the 3k mark. My ankles are killing me again, but not as much as they were hurting last week. It makes me laugh because there's a stretch, comes to the far field and then back to the main field. And down that stretch I always end up cheering everyone that passes me on. And I do that. I want to give everyone a bit of motivation, but also because it's the only way I can stop myself from walking during that straight. 3k in front, not long to go now. Today is currently the 2nd of October 2023. I started my barefoot journey on the 20th of June 2023, just over 3 months ago. I've noticed recently that the shoes are starting to feel quite tight and very snug, and they seem to be even tighter and even snugger than when I first got them. The Africa shoes don't fit me at all right now. I can't physically wear them. I've only wore them like 3 times, and even the walking shoes, the blue ones that I've been wearing on the daily, have gone noticeably tighter. The orange ones have gone noticeably tighter, and my feet seem to be really touching the edges, and I couldn't work it out why. And I've actually just gone onto Vivo Barefoot because I noticed the sole of the walking boots are starting to wear away, and I'm slipping quite heavily in the mud when I'm walking the dog. So I thought, well, maybe I need to start
start looking at investing in another pair of walking boots, and I'm quite enjoying barefoot shoes. I have actually tried wearing a normal pair of boots not too long ago, and I physically couldn't walk in them. They were killing me. Hurt like hell to walk in. I got knee and hip pain straight away after 20 minutes of walking in them. Vivo barefoot shoes aren't cheap, but I decided to try their foot scanner to see if I'm still the same size. When I first got Vivo barefoot shoes, they recommended a size 6. I was a UK 5.5 to 6, and they recommended size 6, 6.5, so that's the size I went for. I've just done the foot scanner to try and find out my size, and it says I've gone up to a size 7. What? My feet have grown in size. How does that work? I now have 3 pairs of Vivo barefoot shoes, 2 of which I am still using daily, and none of them fit me anymore because they're all one size too small apparently. So I'm gonna have to fork out another 300 quid soon in order to get myself some new shoes. That's absolutely crazy.
So as I said, it's now been about 6 months since I actually went barefoot completely, and I have been wearing nothing but barefoot shoes this entire time. With the exception of, because of the severe rain we've had in the country, I have had to wear wellies, which are not barefoot, but they don't have any insole and they are actually almost 0 drop, so you don't have a choice. I have not found to date a barefoot wellie. But we are now at the end of my first 6 months wearing barefoot shoes. I say first because I do intend to carry it on. I've actually had a really good experience. Overall, I found the transition pretty easy, but I do put that down to the fact that I walk barefoot at home on a regular basis, historically a swimmer, so I have actually spent a lot of my life walking around barefoot on poolsides or when swimming, but I have never had a strong arch in my feet. I was actually diagnosed as being flat-footed by a doctor when I was a kid and got told I would never be able to run in my entire life. 6 years ago, I ran a half marathon. I'm signed up for a half marathon and I'm already doing the training. When you first put those shoes on, that sensation is weird as hell. Your ankle definitely stretches, your calf definitely feels the pull, and your body's not too sure what's going on. And I have birds flying everywhere. Definitely takes at least a month, possibly even 2 months, to get into the feeling of wearing barefoot shoes. It does take a while for your ankles, your calves, and your foot muscles to adjust to this new sensation and the fact that they actually have to work now. The biggest surprise for me though was seeing my general foot shape change. Seeing my actual big toe going from leaning inwards to actually going slightly straight was a nice sensation and a nice thing to see, because I used to be a carer, and as a carer I had to help a lot of elderly people into their slippers, and one thing I noticed with all of them is every single one of them had pointy feet, where their feet would go up and then their toes would go into a point, which is not normal. Huge amount of them had situations where their big toe would curl underneath their other toes, or their little toe would curl underneath or go over the top, or their big toe would curl over the top. They had bunions, and a bunion, to my knowledge, I'm not a doctor, don't quote me on this, a bunion is actually your big toe knuckle joint. It occurs from your big toe being pushed inwards towards your little toes, that causing the knuckle to stick out, which then rubs against the side of the shoe. Now if you actually have normal shaped feet, that should not happen, because your toe and your knuckle, or its knuckle joint, should be in a straight line. So seeing my big toe go from bending inwards like all of the old people I used to look after to starting to straight back out was a massive relief, because it means that when I become an old person, I'm not gonna have those problems. Then there's the actual arches on my feet. I got told I would never be able to run because I had no arches in my feet. I have not done any extra exercises for my feet. I have not done any extra stretches for my feet, which, by the way, after doing this whole thing, I do highly recommend. I should have done them, but I didn't. Without doing any strengthening exercises, without doing any extra stretches, the arches in my feet have started to form. They've become more prominent, they've become stronger, and I actually now have an arch in my foot for the first time in my whole freaking life. My ankles are no longer falling inwards towards each other, and the outside of my feet were no longer splayed. They were starting to tuck in, and actually, I don't believe I'm about to say this, but my feet started to look more like feet. The knee pain, hip pain, back pain, ankle pain that I was getting while walking was going away. Now don't get me wrong, for the first month of wearing barefoot shoes, the ankle pain was intense. My ankle tendons and ligaments and muscles were having to stretch back into their normal position, and it hurts because stretching every single day hurts, but they got used to it. I was walking for 3 to 4 hours a day, pain-free. My posture had also slightly improved, which I I didn't expect. And no, it's not through exercise. For the first 3, maybe 4 months of this challenge, I wasn't doing any extra exercise at all. Only change I had made was transitioning to barefoot shoes. If you've watched other barefoot shoe videos and reviews, you've probably heard a lot of people say they can't wear normal shoes anymore. And I can say with 100% certainty that that is absolutely 100% true. I can't wear normal shoes anymore. I tried, it did not work. I've tried wearing my favorite pair of high-heeled shoes. I have tried wearing alternative trainers. I have tried wearing normal day-to-day shoes because I had to go to an interview. I had to get some fancy shoes for a special occasion, and they did not fit. And my feet were in agony after minutes of wearing them. Every time I have put on a normal or attempted to put on a normal pair of shoes since transitioning to barefoot, they have been so uncomfortable. My toes have been squished like sardines in a tin. The sides of my feet rub against the sides like crazy and it aches. I've been getting blisters on my heels, my feet ache, my ankle pain comes back, knee pain comes back, hip pain comes back, back pain comes back, all within 30 minutes of wearing normal shoes. And the extra cushioning on normal shoes also now feels weird. I keep doing this, but it's true. I remember trying to wear a normal pair of trainers with normal cushioning and it felt so bizarre. I had no balance, I was losing control, I was walking like a drunken person because of this weird cushioning underneath my feet that I was no longer used to. But the horriblest sensation was the fact that I could feel my feet arching back inwards. I could feel the arch that I had actually built up for so long flattening, and I could feel it disappearing under my weight. I could feel my ankles bending inwards, and it was causing so much pain. It was the strangest sensation. Another thing I've actually heard in other people's reviews and stories and videos is of their foot growing or changing in size. And I admit, I laughed at this theory. I was like, there's no way your foot grows bigger. You're already a fully human adult. You're already fully grown. Your foot can't change in size. It can't get bigger. I was wrong. Where I originally had space and it felt wide and comfortable, they were starting to feel snug and my toes were starting to feel pressed against the edges again. My toes were actually reaching as far as the tip of the shoe when before they were a good ½ an inch behind it. I had also washed the shoe because, let's be honest, we're in England, there's a lot of mud, there's a lot of rain, shoes get dirty pretty quickly and easily. So I thought that maybe because I'd actually washed the shoes, maybe they'd shrank a little bit. My feet went up from a UK 5.5 to a UK 7. A size and a half increase. How does that even happen? How is that even possible? So far, the barefoot shoes are sounding pretty positive. But what about the negatives? Well, it definitely takes several weeks to months to transition into them with daily use. But I don't recommend in any way, shape or form going the whole hog like I did. If you are considering transitioning into barefoot shoes, please take it slowly. It will take weeks, it will take months. Wear them a little bit every day or wear them for maybe going on a walk or walking around your house to start off with. Because it does take several weeks to months to transition into them, it does take quite a lot of patience. And there were multiple occasions during the first month where I wanted nothing more than to slip into a nice pair of cushioned shoes just to give my feet and ankles a rest from this new exercise regime. But I couldn't because I threw them all away. And even though it did eliminate my knee pain, my hip pain and my back pain, all that pain switched purely to ankle pain while my ankles were actually adjusting to this new sensation. Adjusting to barefoot shoes is a workout. You have to start stretching all the tendons, ligaments and muscles in your ankle that were originally given a rest from the nice big thick cushioning of normal shoes. I can only really compare it to someone who's been sitting on the sofa for the last 30 years of their life to suddenly deciding to run a 5K every day. It's not something you're going to get used to quickly, and a lot of experienced barefoot shoe users will also tell you to do ankle stretches and ankle exercises to help your ankles transition into barefoot shoes. I didn't do this thinking I'd be fine, but in all honesty, I do actually recommend doing them if you are starting out for the first time, and I kind of wish I did them too, because they will help your ankle adjust to this new sensation before you start wearing barefoot shoes. Rookie mistake on my part. The soles are a lot thinner than regular shoes, so they do wear away pretty quickly. And as a result, it means you will have to replace them slightly more often than normal shoes. By slightly, I mean 2 to 3 months sooner than what normal shoes are. The average shoe that's worn daily lasts about 7 to 8 months. I personally find that Vibro Barefoot shoes, or my Vibro Barefoot shoes, have lasted me on average about 4 to 5 months, so not that much different, to be honest. Bringing me on to the next drawback, the price. Barefoot shoes are not cheap, or more accurately, good quality barefoot shoes are not cheap. For example, my first 3 pairs cost me around about £300 altogether. That's on average of £100 per pair of shoes. Thanks to constantly increasing prices, it's not going down anytime soon. And it's also going to be costing me another 200 quid for a new pair of winter hiking boots, which I have now bought, and I will be doing a review of those soon, once I've got some more of my older vlogs out the way. However, there are some cheaper knockoff versions from sites like Amazon and eBay. In fact, my partner actually got a pair of barefoot shoes off Amazon for just 30 quid. We quickly learned that price also reflects the quality. For example, my barefoot shoes took about 4 to 5 months of constant daily use before I had to start considering replacing them. However, my partner's pair of £30 Amazon shoes lasted about 6 weeks before they were completely unusable. They were already getting holes in the shoes, decoration and the sides started falling off, glue on the footwear was starting to come apart. However, in his own words, the knockoffs aren't bad if you just need a pair of shoes to get you started, without having to worry about them getting damaged or you not liking them, or not liking the transition, unlike my Vivo Barefoots, which were still in great condition. Well, after about the 5-month marker, they weren't in such great condition. This is currently the result of my light knits. They've been through the war zone a few times after the recent rains. I don't know how well you can see, but the sole of them is actually still in really good knit considering. I wear these every single time I go running. I wear them in general day to day. In fact, the only negative I have about the knits in general is the fact that the glue does start to come away from the bottom of the shoe, and this is apparently a common fault in the Vivo light knits. You can see there where it's come away from the sole, and on the other shoe again, sole coming away. However, it's only coming away in the parts of the shoe that bend the most. In general, they're still in really good condition, minus that little bit where the glue has slightly come off. They're still in great quality, covered in mud. And you can see the sole on this one has worn away slightly more because I'm a little heavy-footed on my right foot. They're still usable. I still run in these regularly. My walking boots, however, have not fared quite so well. Keep in mind that I was wearing these every single day for about 4 to 5 months, through mud, through puddles, through all sorts of rough terrain, forests, woodlands, roads, you name it. These were my every single day shoes. And I love them so much, and I'm actually quite gutted they're a bit broken now. As you can see, the sole has started to wear away a bit where I land on my feet. Like, the rest of the sole is actually still in pretty good condition. The bit where I mainly walk has started to wear away. The back of the shoe has come undone. The leather has actually ripped apart, which is a shame, because if it wasn't for that leather ripping, these would still be usable. And I'm gutted about that. I'm really gutted that these have split apart. These were amazing shoes. Glue is still solid all the way around. They've been very, very robust, and just, I've loved these shoes. Again, with this one, this shoe's in a lot better condition. This is the left shoe, and again, thing has started to rub away a bit, which loses the grip, but the rest of the shoe is still in good nick. The glue hasn't come off all the way around. The back bit hasn't split. It started splitting on this one, but it hasn't split completely. But these shoes have been amazing. I have loved wearing these shoes every single day. They have been fantastic. I can't fault them, and I am in love. I'm heartbroken that I'm gonna have to throw these away at the end of this video. Gutted about, because I love these shoes so much. I don't have any affiliates with any of the shoemakers. I don't have any affiliates with Vibro Barefoot. My channel isn't even monetized at the time of recording this video. So what did I actually think of the shoes? Well, I've kind of already give you an unbiased opinion on these shoes. I have fell in love with these walking boots. I adore them. I think they're amazing. They have been so comfortable. They are still in such good condition, even after being battered by all types of weather and terrain. And they've just been so comfortable. I've just actually realized the leather has started tearing away there, but again, they've been super comfy, extremely durable, and to be fair, considering they've been through quite a lot of mud and stuff, they've actually held out in colour really well. If it wasn't for the fact that I can't physically wear these anymore because of the splitting on the heel on one of the shoes, I would still be wearing these shoes to this day. They have been outstandingly amazing. I can't fault them. All in all, 9 out of 10. Absolutely love these shoes. They have been amazing. They have been out of this world comfy. The only reason I give a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10 is, again, just because of the tiny wear and tear, and due to the fact that because I've been wearing them regularly, the sole has worn down quite quickly. The Soul of Africa shoes, I don't have them anymore. In fact, I donated them to a friend who was also interested in trying to fix her bunions. The reason I actually gave them away, they were already too small for me. They were a size 6, the same as the rest of my barefoot shoes, but for some reason my feet were already very snug in them. Because they were just slightly too small for my feet, I was getting constant rubbing in them, getting blisters. They were making it difficult to walk in because of that, and it's not technically the shoe's fault. If I got a larger size, it may have been better, but I can only go off the shoes as I had them. Overall, I had a bad experience with them. Just the wear, the leather sat just wasn't, it rubbed in all the wrong places. They were just never good from the start. But at the same time, I don't want to knock the shoes themselves because, again, it might have just been my fault for getting the size too small. Because of that, I don't want to give the Soul of Africa's a review or a scoring system. I want to try a bigger size first. I want to try a size that I actually probably will fit in before I give an overall review. My trainers, the Knit Lights, have been absolutely phenomenal. A great all-around shoe. I can wear them pretty much anywhere. They've been super comfy. Great grip on them. They're still super flexible. I've worn them every single day as normal going out shoes. I have still worn them every day for running. Just recently did a 6K while running in them. By the way, running in barefoot shoes is a whole different experience to walking in barefoot shoes. Please do not try running in barefoot shoes until you have completely transitioned to barefoot walking. Running in barefoot shoes is hard until you get used to it. Once you get used to it, it's not too bad, but when you first start out, it is hard. And like I said, they're still in great condition, except for the fact that the sole or the glue from the sole has come away in places, but they're still solid. They're still comfy as hell to run in. Do you know what? The fact that they're slightly broken just means I'm less worried about damaging them more. They've become my I don't give a damn, I'll go out in them anyway shoes. I am actually going to try and attempt to fix these back with a little shoe glue. I don't know where I'm going to get shoe glue from, but I am going to try and attempt to fix the soles because it is just a couple of little bits in the corners where the shoe actually bends. Other than that, they are solid. Just due to the fact that the sole comes away and it is a common fault, I'll probably give these an 8 out of 10. They've been an amazing shoe. They are fecking wonderful, really easy to get on. They just slip straight on, and I have had nothing but good experiences in these shoes. I'm mud everywhere now. Probably should have washed those shoes before actually flaunting them all over my desk, but hey ho. So overall, I've actually had an amazingly positive experience switching to barefoot shoes. My weight hasn't really been affected. If anything, switching to barefoot shoes has actually made me more aware of where my weight sits on my feet and how it affects my knees and how it affects my hips. My weight does not cause hip pain. My weight does not cause knee pain. My weight does not cause me back pain. My shoes were causing all of that. In a way, I'm actually quite grateful because it's made me realise that my weight has nothing to do with pain. Overall, I've had a very positive experience switching to barefoot shoes, so much so that I actually intend to continue this until at least a year, possibly longer. I want to see whether or not I've got any major differences at 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and ongoing. And if you want to see how I get on at my 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year markers, hopefully I'll last that long. Or if you want to follow me in my calisthenics and running journey, please don't forget to hit subscribe. And if you've enjoyed this video, if you have found this video insightful in any way, shape, or form, please don't forget to give us a like. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.